Hi, this is Jerry, and welcome to the first episode of Chapter 1.1, Number Algebra 1, Grade C for AQA Certificate Further Math, GCSE. This is a Grade C topic which covers the basic and common mathematics that normal GCSE covers. So this will be quite simple to understand, but I tell you, it's difficult to come up with ideas of how to teach this because it's so basic. Well, let's get started. In this tiny topic, there are only 3 things to learn. First, how to calculate ratio using given numbers, which in this tutorial I think I'm going to use distance between 2 points, or rather 3 points, to be the given numbers. And now second, calculate a small part of a given number. Usually it will be what is a percentage of a number, which can be a bit tricky, but if you know the simple math calculations and you're not careless, then you should be alright. And third, how to deal with fraction and its calculations. So fractions are quite complicated sometimes, but it is easy to deal with it. So let's jump to the first worked example to explain. So question 1, give the ratio of A and B if A is 25 and B is 15. This might sound alien language to some people because they shouldn't be that familiar with ratio, but it's actually really simple. All you need is a step-by-step guide provided by me, and you will know how to do this. So what you need to do for first step is to find a common factor. What is a common factor? Well, a factor is a number that makes up the other number, which is, in this case for A, is 1, because 1 times 25 equals 25. Then it's not 3, not 4, it's 5, it's the next one. So that is 5 times 5 equals 25, so that is all the factors, 1, 5 and 25, because 1 times 25 equals 25 and 5 squared is 25. And for B, same thing applies, so 1 must be one of them. Then we have 3, because 3 times 5 equals 15, 5 and 15. There. One trick I can show is that for any given number, if you want to find if you want to find a factor, you can know that if it's a square number, it will have an odd number of factors.
Hi, Jerry.
Thank you, Mr. Rental. So, shout out to Mr. E. Rental's chemistry channel. Oh well. So that is Mr. A. Rental. Let's say. I'll post a link in the description, so go check it out. It's chemistry, which is pretty linked to math, so that works. So there, we have 2 numbers, so we know that 5 occurs at both, so that must be a common factor. So now we've identified the common factor, number 5. Oh yeah, sorry for that, Mr. Rental just broke me off. So for any square number, there will be odd number of factors, but other numbers should have an even number. There are always exceptions, but if you find 2 of the closest number that makes up that result, then there will be 1 each side every single time, so you can basically draw rainbows around and etc. So now we've identified the needed common factor, we can remove that. And now, what now for this common factor? Well, it's 5. What do we do next? Then the second step I will show is to divide by a common factor. I've shown a common factor, number 5, and to divide by a common factor is pretty simple because it's 25 divided by 5 and 15 divided by 5, so that should not be a problem, and you should get A equals 5, B equals 3. If you want to follow this step by step, you can use a calculator or just do it on a piece of paper with your brain, which proves to be quite useful. And now we have 2 new numbers, so what do we do next? Well, this time it's quite simple because 5 and 3 doesn't have a common factor, but if they have a common factor, which sometimes happens, repeat until it cannot be divided into a whole number. I should write that, should I? As a whole number. There. Yep, there we go. So repeat until it cannot be divided as a whole number. What does that mean? So there aren't really a common factor, but if you have to, you can find ridiculous small numbers that maybe fits, which doesn't quite work, but it's just we just want to divide by a whole number. Common factor, it's always a whole number, so yeah, that's what that means. So now we've hit pit stop A equals 5, B equals 3, so now we just need to rewrite it as A colon B, which is the symbol for ratio, equals the associated values, and now you have a ratio. So this is question 1 and the solution. If you like to pause the video and copy that out, it's fine to do so, and I'll see you for question 2. So for question 2, what is 70% of $300? Or pounds, whatever you want. So this question can be easily simplified as 4 steps. And the first step would be to turn the percentage into a fraction. What that means is that because we're dealing with 2 different kinds or types of data, percentage is one type and $300 is another. What we want is the answer should be a cash value, so we have to keep this sign on and actually we don't really have a way to turn a dollar sign into anything else, because this is what we call an absolute value that we don't ever change. And I will go into that a bit deeper in the algebra section, which is the next topic. I think it's 1.2. And how should we do 70%? Well, percent is another word for each 100. So what we have is, whenever there are 100 numbers, 70 of them are present. So that would mean 70% would be 70 over 100. That is always true. Well, depends on where you are. This percentage in human world is called per 100. In geography, there's another one which have another O in it. Yep, that would be per 1,000, but for now we don't care about that, so remove it. That's percentage into fraction, first step. Then we have the second step, which I need to move from here, to multiply the fraction with a given number. The given number is obviously 300, and the fraction we have found is 70 over 100, which gives us this. Doesn't look complicated, does it? Well, I'll put it here. That doesn't look complicated, but it just look a bit dull. What what tip I give to people is that rather than just writing a fraction with nothing, well, a number, write it as a fraction, which is 70 over 100 times 300 over 1, which is 300. Simple. That is the way around that. And now to the third step, crossing out. If you don't know how to cross out, what I have to say is that you aren't really going to success in GCSE. Well, this is further math, so it's even worse. So how to cross away is so that you count, you always look at opposite corners, which is called the cross method. 70 and 1 doesn't turn into anything, so we'll leave it as 70 and 1, but 100 and 300, these two does. What we can do is to for each 0 we'll cross it out. So we cross out one set of zeros, and now we cross out another one because we found another one. Now all that is left is 3, 1 and 70, well, and 1. So after that we'll be able to just wipe everything out and conclude this equals to 70 times 3. Sounds right? And finally, this is just, finish the calculation, which gives you a grand total of $210 or pounds. So that is question 2 solved. So now it's question 3 on the third one, calculating fractions. So the first step of what to do would be to find and identify the denominator. Put it here. So denominator is the bottom part of the fraction. which is in this case 5 and 4, right? And other than that, the second part is we need to find the lowest common multiple of those two numbers. What is the lowest common multiple? Well, it explains itself. It's basically the lowest value that is a common multiple of those two numbers, and in this case it will be 20, because 5 times 2 is 10, while 4 doesn't go in 10, does it? So it goes to 20. And the third step is to turn the denominator into the LCM that we just found, 20, which is like that. 5 times 4 goes to 20, and 4 times 5 goes to 20. And yeah, so 4 and 5, there you go. And what you need to do next is to do the same for numerator. And again, what is numerator? It's the top of the fraction, so denominator at the bottom, numerator at the top. So that will be, say, 1 times 4, 3 times 5, because you do the same multiplication as the bottom, so that it it cancel out, so that you don't change the value. And now you've got that, you can do calculations where you have this as a fraction. There, beautiful. So nope, sorry for that. So this fraction will be simplified to this one, 4 over 20 plus 15 over 20. In this case, then now we have to well, first you have to calculate those number into this fraction, then you join the factors together because they have a common common denominator. They can be added together to form the answer, 19 over 20. So this is how to calculate fractions in addition. So this is the final example that I'm going to do for this chapter. It turns out that this first chapter is simple but long, so I'll go quick for this one. So the first thing to do with multiplying fractions is definitely to cross-check. What is cross-check, you may ask? It is to check the corners of, well, if it's a rectangle, you check opposite corners. For this case, it's 2, 8, 3, and 15. So, yep, that is what you've checked. And always pair the corners together. And now what we do is you have two options, either to cross it out if you are skilled and normal in math, or if you have quite a problem dealing with math or think math is difficult, you can do it turn into a ratio, which we have done just now actually. So crossing out I'm not going to demonstrate because I've done that for example 2. And now I'm going to do ratio. How? Well, we said we have to repeat to find LCM, and so that's what I've done. In the background we get 1 to 4 and 1 to 5, which is 1 to 4, 1 to 5. And now after that, after you found the ratio, you have to reposition the numbers. Using the ratio numbers, you can put it into a fraction like that, which if you do crossing out will get the exact same thing. So if you struggle with math, then do have another step so that you reinforce your knowledge a bit better. And now you do just pure calculation. 5 times 4 equals 20, and so be it. 1 over 20 is the answer. And that is the end of this part, examples. So now I'll go on, or maybe not. I'm going to give you some tips for this chapter. The tip is do more and you will get better. This is the first one. And the second one is don't be careless. Check your answers. That is the key to success in exams. Now proceed to questions. So this is the questions that I'm going to set, and you can stop the video and read all the questions and do them on a piece of paper and write down the answer. And in the count of 5, I'm going to turn the page into answers. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now. So these are the answer to the questions that I've set. Hope that you've got all of them right. If not, it's probably careless mistake. And do check your answer over and over again, and that would help. And I guess that is the end for this chapter. This chapter part 1.1. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've learned something. And I'll see you on the next part of this chapter. So I'll see you next time.